want to point this out, Ken, because we try to mention when economists actually get things right. Happens a couple times a year. And that was a great insight by Alan to put the scope and scale on recession, Europe versus the size of China. Months ago, he was younger. AlanSinai stood off our Bloomberg TV set and told me exactly what's happened, that the European elites would become overcome by events, that they don't make the process, they don't make the rule, came out of AlanSinai's mouth, that they would be completely overcome. Alan, that's all happened in spades, hasn't it?
Well, I appreciate you saying that, Tom. I wish I could do something about it, but I can't. If I'm an investor, I can move money around.
Shouldn't they listen to their economic experts?
Well, there are a lot of economic experts. I think if you put yourself in the shoes of a policymaker and they listen to different things from different economists, sometimes they might listen to me, sometimes they might listen to others. And they listen to this whole array of different views. How would you react? You would be a little confused. And then you've got your own politics to deal with. So it's not an easy game that the policymakers have to play.
I look at 170 German or Germanic economists signing a manifesto, as they put it, to Chancellor Merkel to get things going here. What is the prescription to assist Germany in their leadership out of this crisis?
I think it is the politics of getting enough funding that is believable into the backup ESM, and then some sort of security like a Eurobond to be issued, and then a kind of central bank support, but from the fiscal side of the troubled countries in Europe, and that would be a step in the right direction.
And Paul DeGuire agrees with you at LSE. I mean, he's just saying, forget about all this acronym mumbo-jumbo, bundle it all together, everybody takes a haircut, and have the ECB back it out 30 years. I mean, that's the way the U.S. would do it, isn't it?
It's very new. That's why it's so hard to do, and much newer for Europe than it would be for our Federal Reserve, who have done incredibly ingenious things. And look, our Fed, as I said, is way behind their curve, and I think they've got to step out and do some very innovative new things to get any attention from both the financial and the business world. Otherwise, we'll just live through another slow period. The markets will price that. Ultimately, eventually, we'll have our election. We'll have a president. They'll go to work on the problems. We'll be over these uncertainties, and then markets will move, and then the economy will do what it normally does. But right now, it's really hung up. It's really unfortunate.
Well, Alan, it's generally agreed that Germany made the right move several years ago, basically by reforming its labor force, and look what happened. It went from the sick man of Europe to the strongest economy in Europe. What are the chances that other European countries will follow the German example?
Well, they might, but how long will that take? I think we could see the German politics eliminate Merkel in that time span, and we'd get another German leader, and that would put Germany on the road to leaving the Eurozone and setting up another core set of countries that would be simpatico with Germany. Ultimately, over the next year or two or three, if things don't get significantly better, that indeed may be what happens. We can't abstract from politics. I think you guys know that.
Right.
Economists sometimes abstract from politics. Policymakers try to do that if they're on the central bank side. You can't, because you get a political response to these kinds of crises, which gets into the system dynamics of the crises, and then makes it more complicated and harder to deal with.
Alan, Dean Kernert was with us earlier today. He's from another world than AlanSinai. Volatility, the VIX, the financial mathematics into the equity markets. He said the equity markets are a toggle switch. They're going to go one of two ways based on AlanSinai's world, based on what economic thinkers and leaders do. What's the equity market going to do as you view it through your economic prism?
We are in a correction, and corrections, decent ones are 15% from previous peaks. That's 1,200 to 1,225 on the S&P 500. We're fundamentally in a correction because of the Eurozone risks, which have gotten bigger to the world, and down the road, the fiscal cliff, which could easily be fixed from an uncertainty point of view if Congress and the administration would stop fighting with each other. So we will get through those uncertainties. We'll have an election. We'll have a new president. We'll have a different Congress. And markets do better once the uncertainties are resolved. So I think once we get through what we're living in now, what I'm talking about, and sounds so gloomy about it, it's more shorter to run to intermediate term. The market should be better, and then better markets do help the economy. And then a better economy helps the markets. And all along, business people will be doing the things they have to do to make money. Consumers will be doing what they have to do to get money and to buy what they want to buy. And the private sector of the American business sector will, as I think it almost always has, get us out of our gloom and our now a downturn in growth. And we'll be up and running.
AlanSinai, thank you so much. Extremely valuable with Decision Economics.
Listen to Bloomberg Surveillance weekday mornings at 7 Eastern on Bloomberg 1130 in New York or on Sirius and XM Satellite Radio Channel 113. Copyright 2012.